A star-filled night, majestic and serene. Surveying the heavens, we can be forgiven if we think that the stars will last forever. But the apparent constancy of the stars is nature's grandest illusion. If we could watch for millions of years, we'd see stars being born, going through middle age, and dying.
They begin in clouds of dust and gas so far away that we would need 100,000 years to reach them.
Utilizing the superior vision of the Hubble Space Telescope in orbit high above the Earth's atmosphere, astronomers have peeked inside these shrouds of gas to witness baby suns flickering to life.
Gravity gathers hydrogen gas and particles of dust, and the clouds grow more dense. Squeezed tighter, the hydrogen heats up to a fantastic 10 million degrees Celsius. Nuclear fusion turns hydrogen into helium, and the fire ignites. A star is born.
One thing that's changing in the sun is its chemical composition, not the outer layers that we see. But in the core of the sun, the hydrogen is gradually being changed into helium, and when it runs out of hydrogen completely, that's when the real changes will occur. That's when the sun is going to swell up and become a red giant.
The last-minute growth spurt occurs when the aging sun ignites its stockpile of helium. In response to the sunburst of energy, the sun balloons into a vast, pulsating, red giant star.
This alchemy of the heavens has manufactured the elements that we are now made of. The carbon that life is based on, the nitrogen that fills the air, the oxygen we breathe, the iron in our blood, calcium in our bones were all created by stars in one way or another. And the story of how those elements were created is really a very fascinating one.
A good place to start is with an ordinary star like our sun. The sun is a sphere of hot hydrogen that's in a battle with the force of gravity. Gravity tries to collapse this massive bulk, but the sun fights back by releasing energy from its nuclear furnace.
Now, a planetary nebula represents the final stage in the evolution of a star like the sun. So we think that about 5 billion years from now, the sun will gradually begin to exhaust its nuclear fuel. It will initially expand out to a red giant star, maybe 50 or 100 times its present diameter, and then those outer layers will be lost into space, leaving only the hot core of the sun at the center. The hot core will send out ultraviolet radiation into the surrounding gas, making it glow and become visible as a nebula, like the Ring Nebula. So then that nebula will gradually dissipate away into space. Then the remnant core will gradually fade away and become what's called a white dwarf star. So You can ask, what's going to become of the Earth? You know, the poet said, will the Earth end in ice or fire? What's going to happen is we'll get the fire first and then the ice. First as the red giant burns the Earth to a cinder, and then whatever's left will freeze solid as the sun becomes a white dwarf and fades away.
Supernovas blast their contents into space, thus providing the raw materials needed to build new stars and planets. When our sun produces a planetary nebula, it too will disperse its elements. However, the transition will be more gentle. Names like the helix, the ring, and the Eskimo. These celestial smoke rings are the last gasps of dying stars. Astronomers have even studied the skeletal remains of stars that died violently in blinding explosions thousands of years ago. These snapshots of the life cycle of the stars have given us a new appreciation of life itself.